Hey everyone, welcome to BMW Fanatic. What I'm here for is to bring value to you guys as far as DIYs, product reviews, BMW knowledge, all that stuff that you need to do so that way you can have an informed decision as far as buying one of these cars, as far as N54, 335i, just in general, or just really how to actually properly maintain them. So today I'm bringing you another DIY, and this DIY is going to save you $400 in labor costs alone, and it is changing out your primary O2 sensors. These O2 sensors are very, very important since they determine and make sure that your air to fuel ratio is spot on, very close to 14.7. So definitely very important to do so. You have to do them at the 100,000 mile mark to actually change them out. I'm going to put a link in the description below to show you just how to get these O2 sensors at a great price, and of course fast shipping. First and foremost, to properly jack up your BMW, you're going to need a jack pad. Now this is from Burger Tuning. I'll put a link in the description below for this. This is a very great piece. It's going to go right in the plastic part right here, and then of course the flat jacking spot so your jack can actually jack up the car and it won't damage the actual plastic piece that's underneath there. That's very important, and it does get damaged very easily. And then of course the flashlight. I use the Nebo Slide Key XL. This flashlight is very great. I'm going to put a link in the description below for this. 330 lumens of power, which is nice, rechargeable, only $40. Makes for a great piece as far as DIYing on your car, and it's what I use all the time. So let's go ahead and jump right to it, get this DIY started, and that way I can just show you just how easy it is to replace your primary O2 sensors on your N54 engine. Simply just pick up the cowl filter, move it out of the way. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to have two 8mm bolts, one here and one on the other side. Other 8mm bolt on this side. Next, you're going to take your flathead. Go ahead and get the wires out of the way. Pull them out. Pull them down out of the way. Once that's already down and out, you're gonna pull out and up. You've got to be careful because it's got a bunch of clips on the back, and you want to actually break those off. Now we're gonna take our little bit here, 3/16 bit, and we're going to actually take the engine cover off. All right, with the actual engine cover removed here, I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to show you just what we're going to be looking at. Here are your O2 sensor connectors. They connect right up to the actual fuel wire right here where they connect. So here you have your black wire, which your black wire is going to be your bank 1. So bank 1. Your gray wire is further in the back, of course, that's why it's a shorter wire. And that is going to be your bank 2. And these just kind of pull right out with a flathead, and then they just disconnect by themselves. But as you can see here, they run along the side, all around the back, all the way over here, and run all the way down right here. That's why it's a very tight space to actually get them out and fish them all the way back along the lines again. So we have to jack up the car, pull the underneath plastic liner off, so that way we can actually get underneath there, and there's another part that we need to actually take out, and then we should be good to go ahead and soak them with PV Blaster, and then go ahead and get them actually removed and fished on up back through the top here. All right, let's go ahead and jack up the car. All right, with the car jacked up, now we are ready to go ahead and proceed on further with the actual install. What you're looking at is we have to remove the splash guard that's actually underneath the car, so that way we can actually get to the really boot cover. Boot cover, once we remove that out of the way, then we have direct access from underneath to get the primary O2 sensors. So it's just an 8mm bolt that will really kind of take off all the mini ones. I already just started. And then once all that's removed, we're going to pull that all out of the side from underneath, and then that way I'll show you where to actually get where the actual boot cover is that we have to remove out of the way. I'm going to show you a trick as far as not have to completely remove it, because there is one bolt that it's hard to get to, but we'll go ahead and do that now.
This is a Chuki production.
The bolts removed. We'll go ahead and pull on out. There you have it. Remove your underbelly pan. As you can see right here, you got the little metal housing. Go ahead and bend it up in there so I can show you the O2 sensors. I'll put this in the description below as well. You know, let it sit for a little bit and it breaks them free. Definitely the stuff that I've used for like the last 15 years, 20 years or whatever working on a car. It is definitely the lifesaver that you definitely need for your toolbox. All right, so the tools that are needed to actually do it, I'm going to explain what I've done. Now, when I first did the install, I had this. You're going to need a 22mm shorty wrench. The problem is when I first did the install, I couldn't get the right leverage just because of just the angle of where the actual, of course, the O2 was currently at that time. So what I did is I had to go back and try it again. And what I bought was a crow's foot. So a crow's foot, it can get in the tight spaces, and it's 3/8 drive crow's foot. But then again, I couldn't get the right leverage, mostly because it was just not at the right angle, and I didn't have the right space. So even though this is a torque wrench, and I do get this calibrated, so I know it's all good to go, and it's only mostly used to just kind of break it free, and then I use the shorty to get in there. But what I do is I get in there, and that way, since it's a kind of more of a ratchet, I get it right in there and just break it free just a little bit, because it's not torqued too crazy. And then once I'm done with that, then I use my shorty to finish off the job, and then later twist it off by hands. Now, I didn't have to use that method. I was able to break them free with my actual shorty itself. Talking about as far as a small space, this is the space that you have to work with. And obviously, if you have, it's hard sometimes to even get your hand through, let alone to get up in there. And as you can see, get right up in there. And since I said I already broke these free, and since I've already done it before, bank 2, broke that free. And then snake your arm all the way back down here. Right, before we actually remove the O2 sensors from the actual thing, I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect them. So it's just a matter of kind of getting it started here. They got little connectors. There you go. Pop those free. Same thing over here. Just little by little, get over the parts. Now, very important, you do not want to mix up your banks with how it is down below. That will really kind of screw things up. So you just have to be very careful as far as, so whatever you're going to replace first, go ahead and replace that one right off the bat. So let's go ahead and just disconnect. Just a matter of pushing down here, pulling the connector out. Now this is bank 1, since the black cord. Just so we don't get things messed up, we'll go ahead and, of course, just work with bank 1 right now. We're gonna go ahead and fish that one down in there. Get it up under there. Go ahead and grab it over here. And now it's right down below, and all we have to do is unscrew it, and we can just pull it right out from the top. All right, with that O2 sensor freed up from the bottom, we're just gonna go ahead, snake it on up through the top. Definitely has seen its time. All right, with number 1 out of the way, we're gonna go ahead and open the box for number 1, and go ahead and get the bank 1 sensor installed right now. Of course, looking at the new sensor, ready to go, already greased up, of course, new parts. Now I'm going to go ahead and leave the cap on there since I am dropping it down there, and I'm going to leave it free up here that way, because the thing is that once it's actually down there and you're trying to screw the actual in the down pipe, you need to have it free so it doesn't get all mangled up, because you're constantly trying to screw it on in there. So let's go ahead and just drop it on down here. We can go ahead and run that through once it's actually connected. Let's go ahead and disconnect the bank 2, because we'll go ahead and remove that one now before we get the other one in. Now, of course, just being careful. Bank 2 is your furthest one back. Bank 1 obviously right here, bank 2 right here. So keep those right in line. Just like before. And out down here. And then have it free at the top just like bank 1. And we'll go ahead and remove bank 2. All right, pulling out bank 2. So there's bank 2 removed. All right, we got that out of the way. We'll go ahead and put that back over with the old bank 1. All right, so since we have the bank 1 O2 sensor just down there, still with the cap on, and we'll plug that in here in a second, actually install it. We want to go ahead and proceed with bank 2. So we got bank 2 right here. We're going to go ahead and funnel this down, right down in the way. There's a small little gap down in there, and we're just going to let them both sit right there. I'm going to go to the bottom underneath, and we're going to go ahead and put in bank 2 first, since bank 2 is at this weird slant and you need all the room. That's why you got to take out bank 1 first and then put in second when you're actually installing. Once we get bank 2 done, we'll go ahead and route the wire all the way up here and plug it into the bank 2 sensor right there. So let's go ahead and jump underneath and start with that. All right, to give you a reference here, there's your bank 1 and bank 2 O2 holes right there. Of course, keeping the caps on them. That's why when you're trying to fish them on down here, you don't want to drop them and obviously damage the actual sensor itself. We're going to go ahead and go up to bank 2 right here, and we'll be good to go. The first O2 sensor in. Now you see that the actual wiring's down here below. Sometimes if it gets kind of mangled in a way, you want to pull the wire down here since you're trying to twist it on, and then we'll feed it up to the top so that way we can then plug it in and make sure it's all straightened out and it's not all whopper jawed. So we are using our 22mm shorty wrench, and it's just a matter of sticking on in here, on ahead and tightening it up. So just taking the 22mm up here, snaking your hand through there, or your arm through here. Okay, now we just have to funnel our hands down in here and try to pull up the bank 2 without snagging anything. Looking pretty good. That was a success. Great flashlight, by the way. Works great. We want to just kind of get it all wound out So that way we are good to go. So we're going to go ahead and plug it right back in here. So this is your bank 2. Connection like that. Plugged in. Go ahead and put down in that. So now that's all set. There's some little wire grooves right here where you're going to go ahead and put the sensor. We'll fix that. Kind of pull this back down in here. And then there's a little wire kind of holder right back here that we're going to use. All right, now what we're going to do is we are going to take our bank 1 sensor, which is right here, take off the cap as far as to protect it, and go ahead and thread it on up here. As far as the wires go, bank 1, make sure it's all still entangled, good to go. Take it all the way up here, gonna plug it in, go ahead and put it in its respective spot right here. Then we have 2 spots where that goes. You just did the DIY, save yourself $400 as far as labor costs go, installing your primary O2 sensors on your N54. Let's go ahead and put everything back together, and then that way we can go ahead and get out of here. Well everyone, that does it for today. Saving $400 just in labor costs alone by doing it yourself, that is definitely what everyone wants to do. It's very easy to actually change the O2 sensors as you saw in my video, so you can go out and do it, and definitely what you need. You have to replace them at the 100,000 mile mark, which is very important to do so. They do affect your air to fuel ratio, so that's very, very important to actually do just that. And as always, please be sure to subscribe, like and comment. Have a great day. Take care.